Steve, before we talk about the game against Peterborough this weekend, there has been some sad news that has rocked English football, in particular this region. The former Sheffield United defender George Baldock has died. The club have paid tribute to him. Would you like to say a few words as well?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, I think we were all shocked this morning when we woke up and heard the news, but obviously we send our condolences to George's family, his children, to everyone around him. It's just deeply appalling and shocking, and just demonstrates to all of us that every second, every minute, every hour is precious, and we can say no more than that he was a fierce competitor. I should tell my left-sided players to get at him. They couldn't get near him. Not going to get into that. It's just a sad day. Sad day for football, sad day for his family, sad day for everyone, and we wish him well on his journey upstairs.
You're going back to one of your old clubs this weekend, Peterborough United. What kind of an opponent are you going to be facing in this game?
Yeah, I think a tough opponent without a shadow of a doubt. The one thing I know is that Peterborough's a bit like ours in terms of reshaping the squad. They lost 2 or 3 really good players that they sold. They sort of revamped the policy, how they're going about things. But the man in charge, I've been a competitor with Darren over the years. We're neighbours, relatively speaking. And so we're in for a tough afternoon, and you know they're a really good benchmark for how well we're doing, because we know the rewards, they go slightly further away from us if they beat us, and we know the rewards if we can get a positive result, that we jump them and probably jump the highest amount of places I've ever seen my team jump in a day, which will be about 10, 11 places. So, but our only focus is trying to compete in the game.
When you look at the league table, you are close to the top 6. You know, you're not that far behind. The league's quite bunched up. Having won the last 2 games, do you see this as an opportunity now to put yourselves in the kind of range that you probably expected to be in when the season began?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity to win another game. I think I said to you all, bar a poor opening day down at Exeter and not such a good display at Cambridge, in which we win, believe it or not, then the performances in large have been bright and decent in some spells. Against Barton Albion, Bristol Rovers and teams like that, they've been outstanding in spells. But we didn't take the points, and we can rue those days. But we're going to try not rue them. We're going to try and say, like, let's go to Peterborough, let's try and compete to be in and around that top group. And you know, we'd have settled for this 2 weeks ago, probably not 2 months ago, but 2 weeks ago we would have done.
What's the expectation like at this club these days?
Well, the expectation will never change from within me, never mind the football club. But the expectation for the board and the chairman in particular and our supporters is to challenge for promotion in League One. My expectation probably exceeds that. So, but you have to find a way to deal with your own inner self, if you like, if your standards are at the highest level inside you. So it don't take a supporter to say to me that's not good enough when I've been watching what they've been watching, and it don't take a supporter to say magnificent like we were on Saturday against Reading in spells when I'm watching the same thing too. So we'll take a really good support down to Peterborough. They'll be behind us. We were 0-0 at Cambridge in a dire game, not playing well, and supporters are singing my name and the names of players. That tells you they're together, and it tells you they're with us.
Does it make it more of a challenge, though, that the conventional wisdom on this club is when it's in League One, it goes up, and that's happened so often now that maybe supporters expect that it's almost automatic, it happens.
Yeah, I think
go up from League One.
And I think they're entitled to think that. I think our chairman addressed it at the fans forum in the summer when I just joined, when he said this football club has had more promotions than anyone in recent times, but all from League One to the Championship. You know, and I know this club should be in the Championship, but there's enough said about the last 2 years that's water under the bridge now. Paul Warren and I know how tough it is to get this promoted from League One. This club promoted, our chairman knows, our board know. Their support is deep down now. You can't work so hard to achieve that, and it is an achievement, and then get up there and throw it away by just simply a lot of things wrong. So our job is first and foremost to get the squad into a good place and be in around it as we turn Santa Claus time. And statistically, everyone knows my teams are very good in the second half of the season, so if we're around it, we'll get promoted. Simple as that.
What have you liked most about the 2 wins in a row?
How we've dominated spells, particularly in the second game, how we dominated the spells, but over the 2 games, the grit, the determination. I ask our supporters to go and look at the scrappiest goal they'll ever see as our 1-0 win, but look at the celebrations of the players with the supporters. To a man, including Cameron Dawson, they're in that half of the pitch, and because they knew what it meant. They knew what it meant to the football club, to the supporters. And then when Cameron gets his hands on the ball in those last seconds against Reading last Saturday, you can see what it means to everyone in the stadium, what it meant to them. So the togetherness, the group is coming together in that fashion, their energy and our willingness to work hard for each other, that was evident in both games.
The old saying is that buses kind of come along in 2s, so having got that long away to the away win, how great would it be to make it 2 in a row this weekend?
Yeah, I think it'd be great because it's the next one. It doesn't matter to me if we're going to Peterborough. It's my adopted home city, so it probably means a little bit more, and I've previously managed there. But in the same token, that tells you that everyone else in the stadium, other than the Rotherham connection, wants to beat me as well as beat Rotherham. So it's a bit of 2-way in that front. But I've got huge respect for the players that Darren's got, beyond the words of huge for the manager and his staff. So from that point of view, we realise it's a big game for us. If we could go in and get a positive result, it just sets it up for a free week, and a lot of work will need to be done in the training to prepare for Wrexham, which is a completely different oil tanker to Peterborough United.
I think Rotherham fans have been waiting to see Sam Nomi have a really kick-start things for himself at Rotherham United. Having got 2 in 2, do you think he's got a great chance to do that now?
He'll score Saturday. I told him when I brought him off the bench against Cambridge, you'll go and get the winner. It's probably more fortuitous than any of us could imagine. And I said to him all week he'd score against Reading. I really believed in Sam. He's been razor sharp this week. He's come in with a smile. I think I've gone on record before saying if both my daughters are extremely happy, but if back in a few years' time, if they'd have brought Sam home, I'd have been really pleased because of the humbleness of the kid. He's a real humble kid. He comes into it, work hard every day. Sam has to remember that his goals will come through sheer hard work and really good pace, and that's how he'll get his goals. And I think with that little bit of confidence he's got now, I'd expect chances to come and Sam to be putting them in the net.
If you were going to, as a manager, sort of consider, right, who am I playing maybe next to Sam Nomi, or maybe a slightly different shape? Am I going to play ClarkeHarris? Am I going to play Hugill? What kind of decisions do you have to go through if you were picking between those 2 players specifically?
I think both compete not only with each other but with Sam Nomi as well. There was times, we left Sam out and we went with the 2 bigger boys up front. It's brilliant to see a Song back fit. That's the first thing, back fit and gets a go in midweek. So he also comes into the equation, but sometimes there's a whole raft of considerations. If you were asking a direct question, if it's Jono or is it Jordan, we take into account the current form, we take into account how they've looked sharp in training, we take into consideration opposition, who they'll play against, what type of players they'll play against. So there's a whole raft of things.
Finally, injuries. Is there any good news out of this week?
That's good. You mean Kelly and Raggett are on the grass, which is in training with the group, which is good news. Whether we are determined when they train again tomorrow, whether they're ready to be 5 weeks out and 3 weeks out, whether they're ready to go in against a Peterborough United without having a game here at the training ground and getting some cobwebs blown away, we'll decide. But it was simply beautiful. What a beautiful morning to watch Kelly pass the ball around the training ground. And the same with Big Sean, he can't pass it, but he can head and kick it. But it was really good to see 2 really big players for this football club in the season ahead be with the group.
Very best of luck, Steve.
Thank you.
I said they're back in full training now.
Yeah, they're back in, so we'll see how they go.
Okay, Peterborough, you mentioned one of your old clubs. Did you enjoy your time there?
Yeah, listen, I love my time there. I didn't hate it. It was. I loved it. We thought we were going in for a 2-year project to get the club back into the Championship. They've been a bit of a Rotherham, if you like, in terms of they go up, they come back down, and we know real success of being able to stay up there regardless of who the manager was. And I think I was 5th or 6th when the chairman decided I'm not for him. So, but the one thing I've said, it the same as Tony Stewart, if you own a football club, Paul, you're entitled to pick your manager every day of the week. And I've always believed that wherever I've been. And I think that goes if you manage the elite in the Premier League to non-league. If you own the football club outright, you're entitled to pick it. Darragh wanted a change. The only consolation I would have, he picked an outstanding manager to replace me.
I saw you did a bit of press the Peterborough end earlier in the week. You mentioned Jonson coming off last week, a little bit of a calf problem, and you're hoping he'd be fit. A few days on, is he okay?
He's trained today. Yeah. First time Jon's been on the grass today, and he's trained. So I bet like Liam and Sean, Jon's more match fit, but making sure there's certainly no been reaction since he came in and cooled down after training. So we'll make sure he's all right in the morning.
What is it like playing your old club, especially when it's a club that you've had a lot of success at?
Well, I've not done it, so it's something I'm looking forward to. I think everybody knows the way Peterborough play. You know, it's dominate the ball, total football. But we're going to go there with a real attitude to get 3 points.
Given that you've never done it before then, what's kind of going through your head? Because I guess you'll have a lot of good memories there, but you also want to go and beat them, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Loads of good memories there, but you know, this is my job. I've got to put it to the side and, you know, get 3 points for Rotherham United Football Club and for my teammates as well.
It's been a couple of games now where the club's won. You can sort of see that position in the table. It's getting further and further up the league. How anxious are you as a group to keep that going now and try and make this more than just a couple of wins?
No, I don't think as a group we're not anxious at all. It's took a bit of time for us to get going, but you can see the last 4 performances. You know, things are falling into place. You know, with the quality of football's not been there for us ideally, but you know, it's positive that we can win ugly. So it's just getting momentum. So you know, hopefully nothing can slow us down, and we can keep building and building.
The expectation was quite high coming into the year, and it wasn't just here. You know, there's probably about 4 or 5 clubs who had a lot of expectation. And you know, you look at the table now, you could go, you'd think they'd be higher, you'd think they'd be higher, you'd think they'd be higher. Why do you think that is? Do you think it is there a sort of pressure on clubs like Rotherham to come flying out the traps?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course there is. You know, look what the chairman's done. You know, look at the type of players that he's brought in, the type of money that he's spent on his club. There's definitely pressure on us to do well this year and to be, you know, i.e. in the top 6 of the league, but it's down to us as players. So if we get it right on a training pitch and we get it right on a Saturday or a Tuesday, there's no reason why we can't be.
On a personal level, how would you assess your start to the season?
My start of the season, I think it's been all right. It's not been the best, but it's not been the worst. Ideally, what striker wouldn't like to be scoring more goals? But you know, I've said this throughout my whole career. It's points over goals and performances. So that's where I am. It's more of a team thing than ideally I'd like to be scoring more goals and getting more chances. But you know, it's a work in progress still.
When you wake up on a match day, let's say it's this Saturday, for example, are you thinking, are you sort of picturing in your head getting a goal at your old club, stuff like that? And then if it doesn't happen in a game and you've kind of like, you really want to get a goal on it, how are you sort of processing that in the evening? Do you get quite frustrated if you haven't got the goal? If you get one, are you on cloud 9? You know, what are the emotions like for a striker?
Yeah, no, it's literally that. You know, if we don't win, it ruins my whole weekend, and you know, it hurts, and it rightly should be like that as well. Same for the rest of the players and all the staff. You know, because we work all week, and it comes to a Saturday and we don't get the 3 points. It's a disappointing week. So yeah, it hurts if I don't score. It hurts if we don't win. But I would rather 3 points over a weekend, a 3-2, and if I don't get a goal, I don't get a goal. You know, hopefully I've made a difference in the team and done well enough to stay in for the next game.
It's hard being a striker sometimes because you are kind of judged on your goals, aren't you? I mean, you could have a great game, but if you haven't scored in 10, people will probably point to that rather than go, yeah, but he ran around a lot in that game in February, will he? So what was that like as a striker?
Well, for the last 5 years of my career, I've been constantly scoring. So it's a bit different. I think the longest I've been without a goal is 5 games in the last like 5 years. So, you know, I'm used to hitting the back of the net every other game, every 2 or 3 games. So hopefully this week it'll be my time to hit the back of the net. We've seen Sam do it in the last 2 games. Jordan's done it on Tuesday, scored 2. Zappa scored 1. You know, so hopefully, you know, it comes back round to me now. So yeah, well, looking forward to the game as well.
You seem quite confident and sort of comfortable with sort of the being a striker, being a sort of a striker is expected to get a lot of goals. Have you always been that way, and how do you retain that confidence?
Well, you don't actually really, you do lose a bit of confidence when you haven't scored in a couple of games, you know, because there's chances where you would just shoot, you know. And for example, there was one where Sam's passed the ball inside to me. I would naturally, if confidence was a bit higher and I've been scoring from the edge of the box, I would have probably touched that myself, but I've decided to leave it to, i.e. the better player Malik, who was behind me in a better position. I probably would have took that, even though it was a bit behind, and, you know, tried to have a pop. But you know, it's coming. I can sense it's coming. It's coming in the group as well. So yeah, we're on the up.
If he's coming, what kind of a goal do you think it'll be? Will it be one like Sam Nomi's at Cambridge, or will it be like that one you got, I think, against Leeds a few years ago?
No, the one that Sam scored against Cambridge, they're the perfect type of goals. You know, he's come off his arse and gone in the back of the net. You know, it's perfect. It's the perfect type of goal. 2 yards out, keeper's, you know, half committed, and it's just bounced off him. They're the perfect type of goals for strikers.
So to finish, have you ever had a goal, as you put it, come off your arse and go in?
No, but no.
Are you due one?
No,
then?
I'm due one. I've had one on the goal line where defenders tried to clear it, and I was gagging for a goal that game because I didn't score. It was like 4-0 up, gagging for a goal, and he's booted it, and it's come off my shin and went in, and I've, you know, dived off into the corner celebrating. You know, really made up with myself.
Good luck this weekend. I'll be going to go.
Thank you.
Were you sorry to leave, Posh? Because you had such an amazing 4 seasons there.
No, I wasn't sad, no at all. I think my time was up there respectfully as the club. The club was moving in a different direction, you know, which I fully respect. And I wanted another challenge for myself. I feel like I got a bit too comfortable there. I was too comfortable with how I was working, you know, the type of goals I was scoring. It started to become a little bit predictable for me, but, you know, I wanted to challenge myself, and that's why I decided to sign for Rotherham United.
Yeah. Will you get a good reception from the fans?
Yeah, I'd like to hope so. I don't see why I wouldn't have. We've had some great success down there over the years, some great memories, but I wouldn't see it being a problem. Hopefully at the start of the game I get a nice reception, and at the end of the game I get a bit of a, you know, I won't mind a bit of abuse after I scored a couple, you know, I won't mind.